You know, we all kind of go through life thinking we've got a pretty clear picture of the world, right? But what if that picture is fundamentally flawed? Today, we're going to dive into a really thought-provoking piece by an author named Ranjit. It seriously challenges how we know what we think we know, and maybe more importantly, how our judgments actually go on to shape the reality of the people around us. So, Ranjit kicks things off with this. Well, it's a bit of a head-scratcher. It perfectly captures that feeling of uncertainty we've all felt. I mean, how can you be totally sure about what you know when you're also painfully aware of how much you don't know? It's this exact puzzle that's really the foundation for everything we're going to talk about today. And that puzzle leads us straight to the author's core idea. Picture it like this. Our lives are this constant dance between this tiny little island of stuff we're certain about and this vast, endless ocean of everything we don't know. We're just constantly out there, navigating this uncertainty, trying to piece things together with what little information we actually have.
Now, this whole uncertainty thing, it gets really potent when we start talking about other people. Ranjit's point is that we don't really see them for who they are. Nope. We see them through the filter of our own stuff, our own biases. We basically create a character of them in our heads, and for us, that perception is their reality. It's a pretty heavy thought.
To really drive this home, Ranjit uses a great example from the natural world. Think about it. There are literally billions of plant species out there that we can't even name, let alone understand. But here's the question. Does our ignorance make them any less real? Of course not. And that's the whole point. Just because we can't see or understand something, well, that's our limitation, not theirs. Their existence has nothing to do with whether we're aware of it or not. Okay, so how do we actually form these limited judgments? Well, this is where Ranjit brings in this fantastic metaphor, our taste buds. And it's such a powerful way to describe how we often just interact with the world based on really simple, superficial likes and dislikes. Yeah, the author puts it perfectly here. When all we care about is what we like or dislike, the taste, we completely miss the bigger picture. We forget about the entire universe of complexity that exists right beyond our simple snap judgments. So this is the key idea right here, taste bud perception. What is it? It's that moment we mistake our own feelings, our own preferences for objective truth. It's when we judge a whole person or a whole idea based on one tiny little sliver of information that just happens to appeal to our personal taste. And you can see the contrast so clearly here. On one side, you've got that taste bud thinking. It's superficial, it's biased, it's really restrictive. But on the other side, that's deeper insight. It's holistic, it's based on actual evidence, and it's driven by curiosity. And really, the author's whole challenge to us is, how do we move from that first column over to the second one? Okay, so this brings us to an even bigger idea. If our own perception is so limited, then what does that say about life itself? The very thing we're trying so hard to judge. Ranjit paints this picture of life as something wild, powerful, and just fundamentally uncontrollable. See, according to the author, life isn't some static thing you can pin down and analyze. No way. It's a process. It's this constant, unstoppable force of exploration that just can't be contained by any one person's opinion or judgment. It just flows. And to make this point, Ranjit uses some really powerful natural imagery. Life flows like air or water or a storm, and I love this one. It even drifts like smog from burnt wood. Think about that. It has no set direction, and it's totally impossible to control once it's out there. And this is the really beautiful conclusion to that whole smog idea. Because once that life force is in motion, its potential is just limitless. The entire sky is open for it to explore and expand into. The message here is so clear. Life is inherently free, and any attempt we make to try and capture it or pin it down, it's just pointless. All right, so let's bring all these big philosophical ideas down to a really human level. What actually happens when our limited taste bud judgments are aimed squarely at another person? Well, as the author points out, the consequences can be, they can be profound and, honestly, pretty devastating. The author argues that our words can literally be weapons. It's a simple statement, but it's also incredibly chilling when you think about it. The judgments we make, the things we say out loud, they aren't just harmless opinions floating in the air. They carry real weight. They have the power to do real damage. I mean, listen to this. This is such a powerful quote. Ranjit is not holding back at all here. The point is that the damage isn't just emotional, it's a kind of destruction. It's a full-on attack on someone's very being, and words are the weapon. And here's the chain reaction, right? It all starts with confidence. Once that's attacked, once it starts to crumble, the author argues that a person's entire sense of self starts to degrade right along with it. It's like a domino effect that can completely unravel a person from the inside out. Okay, so if words can be that destructive, what is it that they're actually attacking? This is where the author starts to wrap things up by laying out these essential pillars that allow a person to thrive. And this is key. They're not framed as privileges, but as fundamental rights.
The author breaks it down into 5 core elements that really fuel our inner life, our growth. It all starts with ethics and honest morality. That's kind of our internal compass. From there, we build confidence in who we are. And that confidence, that allows us to have hope for the future. And finally, you've got curiosity, which is what drives us to keep exploring and learning. You could say these are the very engines of our being.
And this is the final, crucial takeaway. These things, they aren't gifts that society or other people give us. Ranjit's argument is that they are innate rights, given to every single one of us equally by nature itself. So what does that mean? It means when we judge other people, we're not just stating an opinion. We are actively tampering with something fundamental that, frankly, we have no right to touch. And so, here we are right back where we started. The author leaves us with a real challenge. Life, as we've heard, is this vast open sky full of possibilities. So the question for all of us is, are we looking at it through the tiny, narrow lens of our own personal taste, or have we expanded our perception to take in the whole incredible view?